This is a Beatles kind of thing. It's kind of based on one of my favorite Beatles songs. I'm going to show you some rhythm and some lead, and thanks for watching, and let's break it down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So here's the rhythm part. I'm using a capo, the invention, and I'm using it because this stuff sounds really good with the strings ringing. If you had to do this with your hand, it just wouldn't be as smooth. So take your capo, if you want to do this, up to the 7th fret and just put it across. And then we're playing a B chord. But these are familiar shapes. They would be very familiar down here, but we're just bringing them up here. So it's this B chord, and then that A chord, and that E chord. But you might recognize them with different names if you were doing it down here. I don't want to confuse you. So here we go. We start out with this shape. Just familiar. B major chord. Ringing open. And then here, A major chord. And then an E major chord. Oh, I'll go ahead and break through the wall. If you were doing this down here, it would be E. It would be E, D, and A, okay? So let's just get that all out in the open. But up here, it's B, A, and E. Okay, that's what we're doing. And then I play this really cool open riff, which is just a hammer-on the 5th string up from fret 7 to fret 9. Fret 7 is being held by the capo. Then you play this note open on the 4th string. See that? And then pull down on the low E string to restart the cycle. I bend it up a little bit too, and that is on string 6, fret 10. This riff again, slowly. One more time. Starting on string 5, hammer on. Play string 4 open twice. And then pull down on string 6, fret 10. Restart the phrase. That's kind of half of it. And then my next corner to end the cycle is just doing kind of a E to D. Just so there's something different at the end of the 2nd cycle. I'll demonstrate. One more time. And you can see what I need to do, and what we need to do when we do this is try and not make any little bumps and grinds. You want everything to ring open if you can. And that's the rhythm. Just keep repeating it. Okay, so now we move on to the jangly part. We got rid of the capo. I took off the capo and I tuned, which is very important because the guitar will probably be a little bit out of tune after you've taken off the capo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up a B major scale, and this is really cool. I'm going to walk up on one string, which is the 3rd string, the G string, starting on fret 4. I think I used my 2nd finger for this. And then the whole time I'm going to be ringing the open B along with it. So the first part of this, the first 3 notes, are just go up 2 whole steps, 2 frets each time. Start on fret 4, string 3. So the first thing I do is I slide up without picking. I pick once and slide up. 2nd finger, starting on fret 4 up to fret 6. Up 2 more frets and repick. Okay? And then walking up the major scale, We do it again, but this is a little different because we're going up 1 fret and then 2 frets because we're obeying the B major scale. Let me back up a bit and just show you the B major scale on 1 string starting on fret 4, string 3 is. You know what though? I'm doing a flat 7 because that's the Beatles part of it. So it's really a B7 scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. So you can ignore that if you want and just play the music, but that's a little bit of the theory behind it. And what I do, just to make it a little bit kind of narcotic and kind of sleazy, is I pull the last note up from 6 to flat 7. So I'll demonstrate again. And then walk back down. You get a really nice overtone. It always amazes me, the overtone. You're pulling up, but I hear a note going down because of the overtone. Like 2 notes happening. So you're constantly ringing this B, this open B. I'll do it one more time. Walk down and then land on the 3rd so that we have a nice place to land and rest for a second. And then I pull that up. Hit the anchor B note and then pull up to end the phrase. And I do the whole thing again. But I did that trill, and all that is, I take my index finger on the 3rd string on the 11th fret and do this pull off really quick. And you want this finger, pull offs, as I always like to say, are just the left hand picking instead of the right one. Just hit it hard enough to where it sounds in an even volume to the previous note, and then pull off, pick by pulling down, but do it really quickly. And then come back and end just like we did before on the 3rd of the B right here. And I think I did this kind of double string pull that I like, which is where I take the 2 notes with my 3rd finger, fret 9, strings 2 and 3. I do this kind of 2-note double stop bend. I'm going to play both those phrases so you get a complete picture. 3, 4, 1. Pull up, repeat the whole thing. The trill. Kind of bend that the way you want right there. All right, moving on. Now that we've hooked everybody in with a couple of repetitious walks up the G string, now I want to move up high on the neck. And the cool thing about this is I'm still doing 1 string lead playing, and it's really, it's just cool to stay on 1 string. So I go to the high E string, and I'm in B mixolydian, as Marty has, with his music school training, has reminded me. I always forget. It's a B7 scale, the way I look at it, B7's chord. Like, this kind of scale works if you're playing A and B at the same time. Basically like that. That's how I look at it. But it is B mixolydian. So what this is I'm just walking down and doing lots of trills and hammer-ons and pull-offs. And you literally can repeat the same phrase over and over, just paying attention to the scale, staying in the B7 scale, paying attention to the whole steps and half steps that occur naturally in the B7 scale. Do it really slow. And all that is hammer on and pull off. So strike the string, strike it again here on the 10th fret, and do a hammer on and pull off. The hammer on has to be the same volume as the note you previously played. The pull off has to be the same volume. So your goal is to make all the notes the same volume, even though you're only picking one note. You're hearing three notes. They're being created with your left hand, but you're only picking one. So that's what you want. You want equal volume, equal strength. And then I drop back. So it's really four notes with one. No, it is four notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is pretty cool when you think about it. You can pick one note with your right hand and speak four notes with your left hand. Do the same thing here. And the difference is, you just have to pay attention to the fact that it's a B major scale. So it's got these whole steps and half steps. Fret 14, whole step down to 12, half step down to 11, whole step down to 9, whole step down to 7. Visualize that in your mind, and then you can do this repeating thing. And we do it here, and we do it here. Really slowly. Change up the fingers. Do it again. Continue to walk down, and you can do this any way you want. I might have gone. This is a little simpler. We just hit one note, pull off and slide down. Once again, the goal is to keep all the notes the same volume. And we do it again. Lastly, down here. And then we land on an anchor note, which is the 5 of B. That's a way to go down. You can kind of do it your own way, but it's pretty much verbatim what I taught, but done fast. Do it your own way, but it's sort of like that. And then when I'm here, I found something that I liked, which is kind of A to B. A little bit dissonant. It's kind of, I'm visualizing an A chord and a B chord, and I'm playing a riff. That's basically starting with your index finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, hammer on, go over to the next string, doing the same thing, pull off, and repeat. Once again, you can do that your own way. So let's do the whole thing. Then I finish out the whole piece by playing the original melody, which was down here. I use the open B string, but I come up to the high E string and play it up here. Just walk up the B major, B7 scale, B mixolydian scale. And then I finish it on this high B note here. And then I play sort of a B mixolydian scale lead thing right here. And do that thing that's really a favorite of mine where I take the two notes together on the 2nd and 3rd string. To me that's very Beatles-y. But here I'm doing it right over the B chord that's up here high on the neck, fret 14 to 16. And that's how I finish it out. Let me do that last phrase. Well, thanks so much for sticking around. See you on the next one. Thanks for your support. Talk soon.